Jurors in the American Sniper murder trial saw the police interview and confession of the man on trial for killing Navy SEAL sniper Chris Kyle and his friend Chad Littlefield. Eddie Ray Routh is charged with 2 counts of capital murder. Fox 4's Phil Alvarado's been following the trial since it started, and Phil has more on that police interview with Routh.
Clarice, a victory for the prosecution. They were able to play Eddie Ray Routh's videotaped confession to the jury over the objections of the defense. Now, we can't play you the audio until the trial's over, but the video by itself is compelling. Eddie Ray Routh sits in a Lancaster Police Department interrogation room, handcuffed and doubled over with his face down on a table. An officer moves Routh to a corner. He looks around the room and after a few minutes falls onto the table again. Texas Ranger Danny Briley steps in. During the interview, Routh admits he shot 2 men. He remembers Chris Kyle, but can't remember Chad Littlefield's name. Confronted with the question several times, Routh says he knows what he did was wrong. Routh says if he could talk with the families, he'd tell them he was sorry for what he'd done. When asked, he told Ranger Briley he didn't know how close he was to Kyle and Littlefield, and they didn't know that they were about to be shot. Routh says if I didn't take their soul, they were going to take mine. Briley points out there's blood on his boots. Routh looks down but doesn't say anything. Prosecutors also introduced voicemails from Routh to Kyle before the trip to the gun range. In one message, Routh says, "Hey brother, give me a shout. Talk to you later. Bye." Routh leaves another message and talks about the weather. He says it's always a sad day when it rains. The state also produced the text messages mentioned in the opening statements from Kyle to Littlefield while they were driving to the gun range with Routh in the back seat. Chris Kyle writes, "This dude is straight up nuts." Chad Littlefield responds, "Sitting behind me, watch my 6, meaning his back." Kyle replies, "Got it." During the interview, Routh also told the Texas Ranger that he did smoke marijuana the morning that he went with Chris Kyle. He never asked for anything else. The only thing he asked for during the interview was to see his mother for one last hug. Clarice?
Phil, did we learn anything new today about what Routh did between the killings and his arrest?
Well, apparently it was quite lengthy. A lot of time passed between the killings, so we know now that, according to Routh, that they happened about 2 o'clock. He wasn't arrested for another 5 or 6 hours. Prosecutors introduced some testimony today that showed that he went to go see his uncle, then his sister. He went by that Taco Bell and got the 2 burritos that we know of. And then he went home to Lancaster before that chase that ended in his arrest. In all, prosecutors estimate that he drove about 105 miles from where the killings happened at the Rough Creek Lodge gun range.
Another day of good coverage from Phil Alvarado live in Stephenville. Thank you.